In example 5, we want to evaluate the expression, and for our final answer, we're going to use negative pi over 2 is less than or equal to theta, less than or equal to pi over 2. So we're in radians here, and we're going to be either in the first or the fourth quadrant. So let's take a look at this expression, and you might think that you can just cancel these out right away, but I'm going to urge caution. What I think we should do first is deal with this inside part. So this is going to give us some ratio. Then we're going to need to take the inverse sign of that ratio, and so this whole expression is going to give us some angle. We'll call it theta, and we're given a range of values here for theta. So let's focus on this first one, the sine of 5 pi over 6. Well, the sine of 5 pi over 6, oh geez, let's see, I'm going to draw myself a little reference triangle. You can use your unit circle if you'd like, no worries there at all. That's 5 pi over 6, it's the same angle as 150 degrees. And so we're wondering here if we have our right triangle, let's see, what is the y value? Well, I think the y value here is going to be 1/2 if I remember my 30, 60, 90 relationships. So we know this is going to work out to be 1/2. Okay, so now we have the inverse sine of 1/2, and that will give us some angle theta. So the question is now, we can rewrite this if you want, the sine of some angle is 1/2. Two different ways of writing the exact same thing. You can use your calculator here to type this in. Here you could use maybe your intuition, or perhaps just find a value that makes this true. And our eyes are now going to go to either the first quadrant here or the fourth quadrant. Looks like the sign is positive, so this one's not going to work. So we're going to be somewhere here in quadrant 1. If we draw an angle that has a sine of 1/2, or a y value here of 1/2, we'll notice that it's this angle right here. That angle is 30 degrees, or we want to stick with the radian measure, it's going to be pi over 6. So theta here will be pi over 6. You'll note in this interesting case here that the inverse sign and the sine don't just automatically cancel out. We really have to think a little bit with this and understand where our answer needs to be. And you could also go back to your knowledge of a reference triangle or reference angle here, and you'll note that if the sine is 1/2, each one of these have a sine of positive 1/2, but we want this angle here in quadrant 1.